What is up, everybody? What's up, Below 7 here, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. Today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video is going to be a little bit different than a normal, but I think you guys are going to like the idea for this video. So, as you guys can tell from the title and thumbnail, I'm going to be playing a Turbo Duel anime deck for Akiza, thanks to the fact that in the current Turbo Duel Grand Prix event, we have a new speed spell ability specifically for Akiza. Due to this, I thought it would have been a fun idea to basically make a plant-inspired deck, or just a plant deck inspired by Akiza. Try to put in some of her anime cards, but then kind of put a mix of my own cards into it to make it somewhat usable, and we hop into the Turbo Duel event and see if we can get some wins. Now, I'm going to be honest, as you'll see later in the video, this is going to be more of a video where I just react to a bunch of duel replays, because everybody in this Turbo Duel event just plays meta decks. You're not going to really find that many people that play for fun decks, so when I try to build a plant anime deck for Akiza, to be honest, Akiza's cards in the show weren't really that good, except for like Black Rose Dragon, so I got my ass smacked so many different times, and due to that, I'm only going to be able to do some post commentary on some duel replays, but I still think you guys are going to enjoy it because there's some really cool duels utilizing a fun little plant deck. So there you go right there. But without further ado, let's go talk about Akiza's new skill for her speed spell Turbo Duel event, and then we'll hop into the deck list, and I'll tell you guys what's popped with the deck list, and then for the final part of the video, I'll react to some duel replays, and you'll see me win with this meme plant deck that is inspired by Akiza. Let's get into today's video. Now, while it's really cool that we have Akiza's speed spell ability Black Rose in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, I'm going to be honest, her abilities compared to the rest of the cast, like Jack, Crow, and Yusei's, her abilities are just not as good as theirs, in my opinion. Now, don't get me wrong, her abilities are pretty cool and they have been useful, but just comparatively, her abilities are just not as good as the rest of the cast. But we're going to first talk about them, and then I'll kind of explain why I think that her abilities are not as good as some of the other duel runners in this event. If you remove 4 speed spell counters, you can select one monster you control. It'll be able to do piercing damage until the end of the turn. Not that bad whatsoever. The only issue with that is that most cases your opponent is going to be making their monsters in attack position, but if you get your opponent's monsters in defense position, either using one of her other speed spell skills or using some cards like Enemy Controller or Windstorm, you can do some combos right there, which is not too shabby. So solid effect, but probably not as practical as you would hope. We also have another ability where if you remove 4 speed spell counters until the end phase, you can half the defense of all monsters you control. So what's kind of cool about hers is that the fact that her speed spell abilities kind of do combo with each other. So if your opponent has a defense position monster and you have a ton of speed spell counters, you can activate one of them to select one of your monsters and give it piercing damage, and then you can use another 4 to make one of your opponent's monsters, or make all of your opponent's monsters have half the defense, which is really cool. So there's some combos you can do, which I do like about this skill. You also can remove 6 counters and change the battle position of a monster you control, so you can combo the remove 6 and the remove 4, change one of your opponent's monsters to defense position, and then you can remove 4 to give your monster piercing damage to deal some damage, which is really cool. Or by the off chance you want to know what your opponent's monster is in defense position, you can change the battle position of a monster put controls by removing 6. So if you want to make your opponent flip one of their monsters through a skill, you can do that too. And then her final ability states that if you remove 8 speed spell counters, you can select one monster you control. Till the end of the turn, it can attack each monster put controls 1 time. I like this ability a lot because sometimes if you have a big beefy monster, you can allow it to attack everybody and it can go for some huge advantage in a duel. So don't get me wrong, her abilities are actually really cool and they can be useful in situations, but comparatively to some of the other Turbo Duel skills, I don't like hers. Because there's a lot of times where when I was trying to get some duel replays for this deck on my live stream, there was a lot of times where I looked at my Turbo Duel skills and I was like, man, none of these are going to be useful in this situation. Like, for example, Jax is probably one of the best ones, just comparatively. You can remove 5 of them, have all your monsters gain 400 attack till the end of the turn. If you remove 8 of them, you can have all your monsters you control gain 1000 attack till the end of the turn. I feel like that's a little more useful than being able to inflict piercing battle damage. You can remove 7 and draw a card, or you can remove 10 and destroy one face of monster proto controls. Like, Jax is just absolutely insane and just so much more useful comparatively to Akiza. Then there's Crow's. Crow's has like some decent ones, like remove 10, draw 2 cards. But it's like most useful one in my opinion is to draw 2 cards. But he kind of like Crow's kind of in the same boat as Akiza, where his skills are a little more niche, I'd say. But yeah, I'd still like that remove 10 effect. Like, that one's like really good. But you can make your monsters like tuner monster and stuff. So it actually works well with its Blackwing deck, to be fair. But yeah, Jax is like just so good. And then Yusei's is also pretty good too, so you can increase the attack of all your monsters you control by 200. You can select the level 4 or lower monster in your hand that can be normal summon and summon the card. You can draw 2 cards, send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, and then you can add a tuner monster for your deck, for your hand to your deck. So like Yusei's and Jax is just so good. And then like Crow's is kind of like whatever, and then Akiza is kind of like whatever. So that's kind of like my gripe with it, but it's still fun to use Akiza's Turbo Duel deck. Now let's go hop into my deck list real quick. And like I said, this was anime inspired. I wanted to originally make like a pure anime deck for Akiza, but her anime deck is just hot garbo. I'm gonna go pull up a Yu-Gi-Oh wiki real quick, and I tried to like look at Yu-Gi-Oh wiki and see what it said for her Turbo Duel deck and try to add some of the cards. I originally was rocking like Glow of Bulb and Witch of the Black Rose, but both of those cards were just kind of like fodder for whenever I needed to use my Divine Wrath or Regeki Break. So there you go right there. I did use some trap cards in this deck, like Star Siphon and Half Counter. Those are in my anime deck, as you can see right here, so you can still tell that there was some anime cards in here. But like, yeah, I don't think Akiza used Fallen Angel of the Roses in her Turbo Duel deck. She didn't use Rose Lover, Rose Paladin, Naturia, Rose Whip. Like, she didn't really use any of these cards, but you can still tell that like they are all Rose cards, and Akiza plays as a Rose deck, so like I'm not going to hate on myself too much for not making it pure, especially because like just trying to make her pure anime deck just didn't really do anything. And a lot of the time when I added her anime cards, I just used them as like fodder for Regeki Break. This one is still like handicapped. Like, me playing this deck, I'm gonna lose pretty much 90% of my duels, but there's still some combos that you can do with this deck and everything. But pretty much the only anime cards that I have in here that are like similar from our Turbo Duel deck is that we have What Grows in the Graveyard, which starts the duel off with the Dark Verger in the graveyard, which Akiza did use in the show, so that's pretty cool. We do have Copy Plant. I probably should replace Copy Plant with Spore, but for the anime deck purposes, we're gonna keep Copy Plant in the deck. But he's a card right there. We have the Star Siphon Half Counter. Of course, we got the Black Rose Dragon, definitely an anime deck right there. And then kind of some of the combos that you can do is that with Naturia Rose Whip, since it's a plant tuner monster, What Grows in the Graveyard will trigger, and Dark Verger will special summon itself onto the field, so you can use that for some 5-star synchro summons. We have Copy Plant, which also can trigger a Dark Verger getting popped out in the field, and you'll see some cheeky combos with Copy Plant and Fallen Angel of the Roses with What Grows in the Graveyard to go into some 8-star synchro summons of Stardust and Scrap Dragon. We have Rose Paladin right here, which is a solid 1800 beater that can search out for Fallen Angel of the Roses or Princess of the Camellias. And then we have Rose Lover, very good card because you can banish this card from the graveyard. It's special summon a plant monster from your hand, and if you do, it's unaffected by your opponent trap effects this turn. So we got that going right there. Then we have Fiendish Chain, very powerful card. If I had 3 copies of it, I would rock 3 copies of it because it could shut down your opponent's monster effects. We have Regeki Break and Divine Wrath. Divine Wrath to negate monster effects. Regeki Break to destroy cards. You can use these cards to pitch a Rose Lover to the graveyard, which is really good. And then we have these anime trap cards just to play that anime deck, which is very cool. And then our extra deck is looking pretty spicy, so that's also very cool. Now let's go hop into the duel replays, and then let me show you guys some epic memes that ensued with this deck. So the first duel, I'm going against a Yusei Fudo. And in this Turbo Duel right here, as you guys will see, I'll be able to make it around the first corner. Kind of like how they use the MC to choose who goes first and second, so that's pretty cool. In this duel, I win and I gain a rank, which is very epic. So we're going to trigger that What Grows in the Graveyard to get Dark Verger in the graveyard. And as you guys can see, I do have a Witch of the Black Rose in my hand. This replay right here was the first build of the anime deck. The last 4 replays I'm going to showcase in today's video is going to be the adjusted anime deck that I just showed to you guys not too long ago. But still, both of them are pretty similar. Anyways, we're going to summon that Rose Whip. Dark Verger's effect is going to trigger where Rose Whip or Dark Verger's going to special summon itself from the graveyard. But I do something a little unorthodox, and for better for worse, who knows. We go for the summon of Fallen Angel Roses, because you can special summon this card from your hand by returning 1 plant-type monster control to the hand, except Fallen Angel of the Roses, but banish it when it leaves the field. So we return Rose Whip back to the hand and summon Fallen Angel of the Roses. We set our Star Siphon and end our turn. Next up, we're going against a stinky Lightsworn deck. My luck was so atrocious when trying to get replays for this video, because in my live stream when I was trying to get replays, I went against like every deck under the sun. Lightsworns, I went against Bootleg 6 Sams, Dark Magician, Blackwings. Like, I went against like any deck that was considered like meta or like top tier in like the PvP ladder. Like, I went against all that stuff. As you can see, we're going against a 30 card a Lightsworn, which is a boatload of fun, I gotta say. Anyways, though, he's going to go for his Lightsworn combos, do the Lightsworn thing, and then Synchro Summon into Michael, which is very annoying. What I do right here Then I play Star Siphon because you can actually trigger it when your opponent summons a Synchro monster. So I just wanted some extra defense and a tuner monster on my field. Next up, he's going to equip a Lightsworn card to him and attack my Dark Verger. The reason why I returned Dark Verger I returned Nichiria Rosewhip to my hand instead of Dark Verger is so that my opponent could take Dark Verger out and put it into the graveyard. Because there was times where I would special summon Fallen Angel of Roses and return my tuner monster back to my hand. Or return Dark Verger back to my hand, and then due to that, my Dark Verger is not in the graveyard anymore, and then Dark Verger becomes useless. You need Dark Verger in the graveyard to be useful. Anyways, though, we have a gigantic Michael, and of course, he mills a wolf, so we have a lot of issues right here. Next up, though, I do summon my Rose Whip. We special summon into Armades right here, which is very cool. Next up, we trigger our Speed Spell Black Rose ability to switch our opponent's monster to defense position. Use Keeper of the Boundaries to attack into our opponent and not have to worry about a single thing, which is very epic right there. Next up, we trigger our Regeki Break that we drew into to pitch a Witch of the Black Rose to destroy our opponent's monster. Next up, our opponent basically uses a bunch of combos right here to get over my Armades. He activates 2 Speed Spell Accelerations and a Tides of Bind. But for some reason, he attacked into a Siphon token, and then he automatically surrendered right there. So, that was a lackluster end, I'll be honest. Technically, I did beat Lightsworns, but the only reason why I beat Lightsworns with this anime deck was literally just because of the fact that our Yusei accidentally attacked my token instead of my Armades. Should have attacked the Armades, then I wouldn't have any opportunity to win. But he misplayed, so I won, so that's very epic right there. So next duel, it's an Akiza mirror match. I don't remember if I go first or second in this one, we'll find out soon. Uh-oh, the opponent reached the first corner, so the opponent Akiza is going to be going first. Again, when you gain a rank, no way. So we're activating that What Grows in the Graveyard, and we got an interesting hand, that is for sure. Not too bad, though, I'll be honest. Opponent's going to set 2 cards face down and set 1 monster face down. We're going to normal summon Rose Lover and then special summon our Fallen Angel of the Roses, which is kind of cool because we get a big beater on the field, and we have a Rose Lover back in our hand, so we can use that as fodder for Divine Wrath. Next up, our opponent's going to activate Enemy Controller, and we're just going to set our Divine Wrath. We're going to use Rose Paladin to search out for our Princess, because I would hate to draw into this card, so that's what we're going to do right there. And we're going to end our turn. Next up, our opponent is going to set another monster. Now, I do some Unga Boonga plays right here. Luckily, it didn't matter too much, but I probably should play things a little different. Anyways, though, we're going to normal summon Rose Lover and then special summon our second Fallen Angel of the Roses. Next up, we're going to activate our Speed Spell Black Rose and give both of our Fallen Angel of the Roses some piercing damage, because since our opponent has 2 defense position monsters, I might as well give both of my big beaters some piercing effects so I can deal some damage. Next up, our opponent activates Dimensional Prison, so we do lose one of our Fallen Angel of Roses, and then our opponent has a Nordic Beast. Now, hindsight 2020, I do an Unga Boonga play right here. I think I shouldn't have negated his Divine Wrath for the fact of that you'll see later, but we negate his effects. I didn't want him to get any tokens, so he couldn't go into a Synchro Summon of a monster. But hindsight 2020, that probably wasn't the best idea because of the fact that his Nordic Beast right here was not a tuner monster. And since this Nordic Beast that he flipped up wasn't a tuner monster, if I allowed him to make his Nordic Beast go onto the field like this, he would have been clogged, and then he wouldn't be able to go for Synchro Summon. But oh well, can't do much about it. He goes for the Synchro Summon of your boy Thor, Lord of Azir. I don't know how I was gonna win this duel, but somehow I make it. Anyways, though, we're gonna summon into we're gonna set our Rose Lover, because Rose Lover is kind of useless in the hand right now. I don't even remember. I guess that was the second Rose Lover that I drew into, because I did pitch one of my Rose Lovers to the graveyard with Divine Wrath. So yeah, we drew into Rose Lover, set it down. Our opponent is just kind of doing whatever. Now, what I don't get right here is that, like, our opponent switched his Thor into defense position. Like I said, like, the wins that I've been getting today in these replays have been so weird. But yeah, he switched his Thors to defense position, and then he attacks with the Nordic Beast right here. The Nordic Beast effect triggers where it returns my Rose Lover back to the hand. Next up right here, we're going to activate our Speed Spell Black Rose to cut the defense of his Thor in half. We're going to summon Rose Whip, special summon Dark Verger, go into the Synchro Summon of Armades. And then next up, we're going to activate Speed Spell Black Rose to then basically give my Armades the ability to attack every monster. We're going to special summon our Princess by banishing Rose Lover, and then we're going to destroy both of his monsters with Armades effect. Then we're going to attack directly with Princess for game. The reason why the Dimensional Prison wasn't able to banish my Princess was because of the fact that when you do special summon a monster with Rose Lover, it's unaffected by your opponent trap effects this turn. So that was kind of an anime win right there. Now, I don't know how I got that plot armor to make his Thor go into defense position, but hey, it worked out in the end, so that was very epic. Now, these next two duels go extremely quick. Like, these were like some of the fastest wins that I got with this deck. We're going to be going first in this replay right here, but there's going to be some cool combos that I pull off right here, which you guys are going to find pretty cute. So what we do right here is that we normal summon into our copy plant when we finally get going. We normal summon copy plant, Dark Verger's effect's going to trigger. We return Dark Verger back to our hand, especially summon Fallen Angel of the Roses, and then we synchro summon our 1-star copy plant and our 7-star Fallen Angel of the Roses to go into Star Dust Dragon. Let's go, boys. Akiza summoning Stardust Dragon. That's awesome for the anime deck right there. Next up, we set Divine Wrath and Regeki Break, and we have a spicy Dark Verger to use as target for our Divine Wrath and Regeki Break. Our opponent's going to use a Cosmic Cyclone to get rid of one of our face down cards, get rid of Divine Wrath. Use Regeki Break to get rid of his monster, his Death Spot. We summon it to Rose Whip, special summon our Dark Verger, go into the Synchro Summon of our Armades, and we just kind of just direct attack for game, which is very epic. So we stopped our opponent from doing his Death Spot plays. We special summon that spicy Stardust Dragon. Thank you, Akiza, for coming through. And yeah, we got a quick win right there. We got another duel right here going against a Yusei Fudo. I don't remember the exact way on how I won this one, but I do remember that it was kind of stupid on how I won this one. But yeah, our opponent reached the first corner, and we're going to go see what our boy Yusei got up his sleeve. So he has Mark of the Dragon Head, 29 card deck. We got that What Grows in the Graveyard. We got an okay hand for what it's worth. Next up, though, he's going to set 2 cards. We're going to do Pitch Rose Paddle and go into Fallen Angel of the Roses. We're going to normal summon Copy Plant, summon Dark Verger, do that play again where we summon Fallen Angel of the Roses, and then go into the Synchro Summon of an 8-star monster. We're going to go into Scrap Dragon right here. We use Scrap Dragon to pop one of our useless back row cards. Because Star Siphon, I don't really have that much of a use for it, except for the fact that we can pop it with Scrap Dragon, so that's cool. Clearly, our opponent's playing some bait because in this replay, or during this duel, my opponent had no reactable cards, and when I popped his Polymerization, and like the card that I popped was Polymerization, so this guy's playing some bluffs right here. Anyways, it goes his turn, and he just bricked and surrendered, so... yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember what he did. Yeah, during my live stream, he just, like, bricked, and then he just time limit me, so he was hoping that I would just leave the duel since it's taking too long, but I ain't like that. I'm playing an anime deck, bro. I'm already playing a deck that handicaps me. If I can get a win, I'm gonna wait it out, brother, so there you go right there. So we're moving on to the final duel of today's video, and it's Akiza versus Akiza, and this is easily probably the best duel out of all 5 of them, so you gotta save the best for last, you know what I'm saying? But what was really cool about this replay is that both myself and this opponent, Akiza, were both playing the same skill. What Grows in the Graveyard twice now. So this is like anime versus anime. We had a really good hand right here. I summon Rose Whip, special summon Dark Verger, and go into Armades. I went for this play instead of setting Rose Lover because I wanted to get a big monster on the field, and since I had Regeki Break on my side, I could pitch my Rose Lover to the graveyard anyways. So we set Regeki Break. Our opponent is going to summon into a monster. We're going to use Regeki Break to get that our Rose Lover in the graveyard. Since we have Armades, I didn't worry too much about back row, so that's why I took out the monster. Next up, we're going to set that Fiendish Chain and go for the attack with Armades to deal some spicy damage. Our opponent's going to summon it to a Rosemary, use Angela's effect to then go for some cheeky effects. We're going to activate Fiendish Chain, though, to stop our opponent's Rosemary from doing anything. She's going to activate her speed spell Black Rose to switch my Armades to defense, but she tried to go for the attack, not knowing that Fiendish Chain also stops Rosemary from attacking. Next up, we're going to switch her card back into attack position, switch her monster to defense position with our speed spell Black Rose, and then give our Armades some piercing damage right here. She's going to use her effect of Spell Absorbing Life to give her some life points, hopefully trying to use her Rosemary's effect, but it doesn't matter because Fiendish Chain is still in effect. We're going to go for that direct attack right there and inflict some damage. Next up, we're going to she's going to set a card. Next up, what we're going to do right here is we're going to go for some memes, boys. We're going to go for some memes. She's going to activate another spell, Absorbing Life, and then what we do is that we use Copy Plant's effect to copy the level of Dark Verger, and then what we do is that we go for the Synchro Summon of Black Rose Dragon. Now, this was not the play to go for, and you'll see why, but for the content's sake, we summon Black Rose Dragon. So if you have not left a like on today's video, what are you doing, boys? Leave a like on the video because we summon a Rose Dragon with this Unga Boonga deck. I originally thought the only way I was going to summon Black Rose was using my Cherry Rose Whip and then that Rose Paddlein, but clearly that was not the case. Anyways, though, we activate a Star Siphon, because why not? Go for that direct attack, only for the opponent Akiza to activate Draining Shield. Like, are you joking me? I literally had the win there, and I decided to meme it up, so that's my fault. Anyway, she's going to activate her Black Rose ability to give Piercing to her card to make my life points pretty low. We're going to activate our speed spell Black Rose, switch her monster to defense position, and then we're going to give our Black Rose Dragon Piercing damage, so we deal some damage right there. Next up, she's going to set one card. We're going to summon into our Rose Paddlein, or no, we're not going to summon our Rose Paddlein. We're going to pitch it to the grave to search for Princess. Next up, we're going to banish our Rose Lover to summon Princess on the field, and it's pretty much a GG right here. So she activates her Spell Absorbing Life. Didn't really matter what card she had, though, unless it was like a Drowning Mirror Force. If it was a Drowning Mirror Force Wall Disruption, that would have been GG, but Tamila's effect, you contribute a face-up plant monster to negate an activation if you do destroy it, if like a card gets targeted, or if a card that targets some other cards, you can use Princess's effect to negate that. We had a Dark Verger on the side, but it didn't matter because we just double direct attack and go for game right there. So that was an epic win for content's sake. I summoned at Black Rose Dragon, and yeah, it was a really cool replay. Well, that's going to be it for today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. Please let me know if you want to see more anime decks on the YouTube channel. Since anime decks are not best for live commentary, no matter what, if I do continue making videos like these, it's just going to have to be me accumulating a bunch of duel replays of just showing wins. But if you kind of like this format, please let me know, because I would be willing to make more anime decks in the future for you guys on this YouTube channel. So yeah, if you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more Duel Links content, and other than that, that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll go see you guys next Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. Peace out, everybody.
Off in the cycle repeat. A lie. How many chasing their dreams? A lie. How many of us give up cause we taking the failure as if it's defeat? A lie. How many of us is weak? A lie. How many of us is scared? A lie. How many of us don't understand that we got somebody who really cares? A lie.